What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and I'm about to pick up what I consider to be the worst quest in Borderlands history, and frankly, the worst quest I've ever played. I think it has a very good shot at being the worst quest in video game history, but then again, I haven't played every video game. At the very least, it's the very worst part of the very worst DLC for Borderlands 2. This quest is called Tier 3 Rematch, the Death Race. And basically what this quest is, it requires you to drive around in a circle around this map twice. And it's just a huge waste of everyone's time, in my opinion, because you do not use any of the core mechanics in Borderlands 2. You do not use any gear in the game except for possibly the Afterburner Relic, which is otherwise useless. All it does is enhance the boost capabilities of your vehicle, and it is pretty helpful for this quest, but it is not required. You don't use any of your skill points or action skill during this quest at all, and it's just really stupid in my opinion. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and get a vehicle and start this quest. Another reason why I really hate this quest, you'll notice it's called Tier 3 Rematch, the Death Race. They actually make you complete 3 stages of this quest, and then again complete the 3rd stage in order to actually get it off your quest log, which I consider to be really dumb. You can get started just a little bit before the go signal starts, which will help considering you only have about a minute and 45 seconds to actually finish this quest, which is, not an incredibly hard time to pull off, but if any of the terrible driving mechanics happen to you in Borderlands 2, or if any of those idiots actually stall your car in some way that, appear around this quest, you'll have a troublesome time finishing this quest. It's also very helpful to take some of these shortcuts as well. Anyway, I wanted to do this quest today because of some events that happened in real life. A driver named Kevin Ward Jr. was killed on a racetrack yesterday after a collision with who I think is a famous NASCAR driver named Tony Stewart. I don't pay too much attention to racing in general. I consider it to be just kind of a boring waste of finite resources in my opinion. But, a lot of people like it, so we'll leave it at that. Anyway, the incident that occurred basically happened after a collision between their two vehicles, where Kevin Ward Jr. got the worst of the collision. His vehicle got spun out and hit a wall. After this happened, he got out of his vehicle and approached the vehicle of Tony Stewart's car. Or the vehicle of Tony Stewart, I should say. And as he did this, he was on foot, and he was kind of pointing at Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart made contact with him, and it threw the other driver, Kevin Ward Jr., who was only 20 years old at the time of the collision. It threw him into the air and about 30 feet back or something like that. I heard that the collision occurred with Tony Stewart going about 30 miles an hour because the race was currently under caution, obviously, after a vehicle was spun out and a collision had occurred. Anyway, after this collision, Kevin Ward Jr. was pronounced dead as a result of this collision. And I wanted to know what you guys thought about this whole situation. You can find the video on YouTube. I'm not going to leave it linked in the description of this video because it is kind of graphic. Probably not as violent as some of the shows you guys might watch, like Spartacus or Game of Thrones, etc. But basically, Kevin Ward Jr. died as a result of this, and I wanted to know if you guys thought he should be held completely at fault because he got out of his vehicle on a live racetrack and approached a moving vehicle. It just seems like that is kind of having a death race to me, or kind of having a death wish to me, personally. But, there is currently an investigation going on to see if there was any criminal intent involved on the part of Tony Stewart, and we'll see what happens with that. At the time of making this video, I know that no particular charges have been yet filed against Tony Stewart, and it's currently just being investigated as a racetrack collision. However, I'm interested to know what you guys think. Is Tony Stewart at all at fault? Should Kevin Ward Jr. be held completely at fault for his actions? Do you guys think there are any redeeming aspects to this death race quest? I know that some people use it at lower levels in order to gain experience and torque tokens for farming and leveling up, early in the game like that. Personally, I think that's kind of dumb. It just seems like you should actually have to play the core mechanics of this game in order to get torque tokens and experience and stuff like that. Borderlands 2 is often criticized for its really poor driving mechanics, so it just seems kind of silly to have a quest based completely on driving and none of the guns or action skills that this game is actually built on. I know that one reviewer, Anthony Gallegos from IGN, which is an absolutely terrible site by the way, said that he actually rated Borderlands 2 down because it did not have any vehicle missions like Halo. And I thought that was really, really stupid, and I think that's the reason this quest is actually included in this game. Either way, though, it's by far the worst part of by far the worst DLC in Borderlands 2, and I actually hate this quest. It was actually painful to come do this quest. So let me know what you guys think about this quest and this particular incident that occurred in real life. I would like to have a conversation with you guys in the comment section of this if you guys are interested. So if you are, leave your comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Otherwise, as always, guys, I thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I have no real need to show you my gear or skill build during this because obviously we didn't use them at all. So if you haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, please do. I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, as always, I hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.